Welcome everyone to the Ncaa Postgraduate Internship Program informational webinar. My name is Lamar Pottinger. I serve as the Associate Director for Leadership Development here at the Ncaa and also the Program Administrator for the Internship Program. So for today, we appreciate you all coming. I want to go over our agenda. This informational webinar is designed for you all that are either current applicants or future applicants for our internship program for the 23 to 24 cohort. Today, I have several of my colleagues from the national office that will talk about their positions in their departments. I will discuss a little bit about the internship program as a whole, and then at the end, we will have question and answers for you all to facilitate to us, and then we'll answer. So let's get started. As you all may have seen on our website or even on social media, this is a internship program for postgraduates that we do every year within the national office that provides a on-the-job learning experience within the national office in Indianapolis, Indiana. And we are recruiting talented individuals that aspire to have a career within college sports. A few things to know about the internship, just from a historical background. This internship started little over 30 years ago in 1988, when we were at the headquarters in Kansas City, to give opportunities to ethnic minorities and women to have the ability to get a job or opportunity within college athletics through the national office. Now it's grown over the last 30 years, and we've had over 500 interns go through this program. And some of the alumni that you'll see today are notable within not just college athletics, but in professional sports, ranging all the way from conference commissioners to athletic directors to deputy ADs, you name it. They have been through the postgraduate internship program here at the Ncaa. As I mentioned before, it's a year-long cohort. So what happened is through the process, when you all start in June of next year, that would be the beginning, and then the end of the internship would be the following year in 2024, the last day in May. That's how our internship always runs. So it's a one-year internship. And then it's focused on, again, preparing you all to be the next future leaders of college athletics. Our network for alumni, as I alluded to, is very strong. The internship has a really strong brand, not only within college athletics, but within sport in general. And just a couple facts from the previous years, over 95 job placement within the last 3 years. We had 100% in 2019 from our interns. And then a great opportunity here at the national office is that we have positions every year that give opportunities for those interns that are interested to be able to stay on with the national office. So our recent class that just left us in May of 2022, currently 10 are with the national office, which was about 1/3 of that group. And I know that there are a number of different opportunities that will come up this year that our current class will have to stay with the national office. So a few things to know as far as the benefits of the internship program. So the salary is pretty competitive with $30,000 a year with living in Indianapolis. You all get full benefits as interns. You're treated as such, which means you'll get PTO, you'll get our bank of virtual work from home days, health insurance, and also vision and dentist as well. There's some other opportunities through our benefits and our HR program that I won't go into too much detail in, but you all are treated as full-time employees to get those benefits as you walk into the national office. We also do a real huge benefit of hosting a house hunting trip every April for our incoming interns before they arrive in June. And this is a 3-day experience where you get to meet your supervisor, you get a tour of the national office and Indianapolis, and then you get to look at different apartments, housing, condos to be able to secure your spot within Indianapolis before you arrive. And that is done through our relocation service that we have just for you all and our employees at the national office. And then the last two things here is a heavy focus on our internship program. This is a very important and crucial program within the building. So there's always opportunities for professional development, networking, and then cross-functional learning opportunities, whether it's volunteering for a championships event or initiative, or volunteering for a leadership development or inclusion event, or even sometimes when we host all staff events as far as outings, there's opportunities for you all to get involved and work with our executive office as well. So there's a lot of different opportunities in addition to our professional development trip that we fund for you all, where it's a 3 to 4 day trip that is funded by the national office, where you get to explore any city within the United States to go to different conferences, institutions across all 3 divisions, and even maybe some professional sport organizations to shadow different professionals and learn more about their roles and maybe gain better perspectives and relationships that will help you once you're complete with your internship at the end within May. So those are just a few facts about the internship and some benefits. I'm going to go into our hiring managers and departments now. We have 32 positions this year through 11 NCAA departments, which is phenomenal. So some departments, as you'll see when we go into the department opportunities, you'll see that some departments have more than one position within their area. So what I'm going to do now is pass it over to Quentin Wright so he can talk about academic and membership affairs.
Awesome. Thank you, Lamar, for that. And good afternoon to the prospective candidates for the internship program here at the national office. I can say without a doubt, being a former intern in the 2009-10 class, that it's a great program, and it's definitely helped me in my career and the progression that I've seen so far. So today, I just want to give you all a quick snapshot of the Academic and Membership Affairs intern. You can learn a little bit more about our department. The unique thing about Academic and Membership Affairs, or AMA for short, is that we're under the umbrella of the Regulatory Affairs Department, which is led by Stan Wilcox. The other groups in that department, you'll hear from them later, are our enforcement colleagues as well as our Eligibility Center colleagues. And we all make up the staff of the Regulatory Affairs group. And we have different functions within that group. And I'll explain to you what we do in the Academic and Membership Affairs group. Generally speaking, we have about 60 staff within our group, and I'm going to underscore something that Lamar mentioned earlier regarding opportunities for postgraduate interns to become full-time employees. Out of the 60 employees that we have within our group in Academic and Membership Affairs, we have about 12 of those individuals who were former interns, whether from the Academic and Membership Affairs Department or other departments. So again, just underscoring the point that if you do good work and you're a good colleague, there are plenty of opportunities for you to continue on with us here at the national office. In total, just giving you a little bit more numbers before I jump into the details, but in total, Academic and Membership Affairs, we bring in 5 interns every year. One of those interns will focus specifically with our student athlete reinstatement team that deals with extensions of eligibility for student athletes, hardship waivers for student athletes when they get hurt, as well as other reinstatement related issues that student athletes experience during their time in college. We also have an intern that focuses mostly with our academic team. And that includes all the different components of what our team does regarding the academic performance program and interpretations and waivers of academic rules. And then finally, the other 3 interns are split amongst the 3 divisions that we have in the association. So we have an intern that focuses mostly on Division I issues, Division II issues, as well as Division III issues. I won't read to you what it says here on the screen related to what the roles are of the interns, but I just want to kind of talk to you a little bit more practically about what we do in our department. Every time I do this presentation or when I talk to people who ask me what we do in our department, I like to ask a couple of questions. So you can ask yourself these questions as you consider whether or not this is going to be the department for you. So one of those questions are, do you like to solve puzzles? And if so, do you like to solve puzzles that are sometimes missing pieces? Another question I like to ask is, do you like helping people? And then that final question is, do you like building? So those questions are all really intentional. Some of the issues that we deal with are complex, and sometimes it's like solving puzzles without all the pieces. You have to have the aptitude and the wherewithal to be able to analyze things and put things together that you may not be able to see. But going back to that puzzle analogy, you just have to be able to see the bigger picture. Regarding the question related helping people, we're servant leaders within this department. We serve the membership, so the student athletes, the coaches, and the administrators, as well as our colleagues within the regulatory affairs group and other colleagues that we collaborate on a day-to-day basis. And then I would also say that we provide consultation to others as well. So if you like helping people, I think this would be a good group for you. And then finally, do you like building? Do you like building relationships? We interact with people within the membership, again, student athletes and administrators, mostly compliance officers, as well as those in the academic space. And again, we like building relationships with our colleagues in the office, as well as externally. And then finally, we like helping institutions build the foundation for different requests that they have when they are trying to get relief from a rule that may be impacting them negatively, or trying to get an understanding of a rule that is not quite clear. We like helping build the foundation from an educational standpoint. So again, ask yourself these questions. Do you like solving puzzles? Do you like helping people? And do you like building relationships? The last thing I'll say on this slide before I jump to the next slide is some technical skills and some human skills that are usually really good in what we look for in the individuals that we bring in for the academic and membership affairs intern. So from a technical skills standpoint, we like for individuals to be really analytical, good communicators, orally as well as in writing, team players, people who can collaborate, as well as people who have really good time management skills, because sometimes the volume and pace of the work that we do is very, very, very fast and heavy. So we need people who have really good time management skills and energy management skills. From a human skills perspective, some attributes that we look for, I like to call it the 3 C's. We look for individuals that are coachable, individuals that are able to accept constructive criticism, and people who are creative. So everyone has their own unique self, and we don't like for individuals to come in and kind of fit the mold of what everybody else is doing and how they're thinking. We like for innovative and thoughtful people who can bring their unique experiences to help us do the work that we do better. Here are a couple of our Pgip alumni. We have Jerry Vaughn, who's currently a staff member in academic and membership affairs. He's a director of our student athlete reinstatement team. He started off as an intern in 2014, and he rose through the ranks in the national office and AMA to become a director. We have Melissa Marchini. She is currently the director of compliance and student services at Conference USA, one of our Division I conferences. She was an intern in 2019, and she actually worked on a Division II team, but ended up getting a role in the Division I conference office, which shows some of the versatility skills that you learn while you're an intern. And then we have Tai Med. Tai is one of our most recent Pgip alumni. He was an intern during our COVID year, and he is an individual who was a former student athlete. He was a Division I national SAC representative. And again, he rose through the ranks through the internship program and is currently an assistant director. So with that, I will pass it off to Carl West to talk about the Administrative Services Group.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Quentin, for that introduction. My name is Carl West. I am the Associate Director of Administrative Services, Senior Internal Auditor. I've been at the NCAA since 2008. I'm here today just to share a little bit more information about the Administrative Services intern positions. We actually have 2 positions available this year. The Administrative Services Group is comprised of all of the departments that really are the support or the back office support for the national office. And I like to say that we are the backbone to the national office. We don't have a lot of interface with the membership or student athletes, but we are there to provide our services to help all other departments to do their job well. We are responsible for the ethical stewardship of the association's information, as well as all of the physical, human, and fiscal assets. We do our best to provide the highest quality of service and to provide an environment for excellence and change. So as I said, we have 2 positions available this year. Those 2 positions are, one is dedicated to the finance and accounting group, focusing primarily on general accounting, and then championships finance, which provides support to our championships group. And then we also have our administrative services intern, which does a rotation in all of the groups that make up administrative services, so including information technology, human resources, business performance management, operations, purchasing and procurement, champs finance, accounting, finance, and internal audit. Spend approximately a month in most of those areas, but the base position for that job is the internal auditing group. So you get a lot of experience in the internal audit area. The things that we're looking for, obviously, for our accounting intern, we look for someone who has majored in accounting, who has taken significant courses in that area. It's very technical in nature, and so it is required that you have an understanding of accounting and how to maintain books and records. Conversely, the rotational position is designed for those who know that you want to do something in the business environment, the back office support, but not really sure where. So hopefully this position gives you an opportunity to learn more about the diverse things that are available within a college or a back office support group. Giving you just a couple of examples of some of the great interns that we've had in the past. What you'll see is that the level of responsibility is great within and outside of college athletics. So we have Alex Josh, who was here in 2019. And he was our finance and accounting intern, and he is now the financial accountant for the NFL, for particularly the Buffalo Bills. And then Brandon Ellis served, a phenomenal guy who served as our rotational intern in 2017, and he is now the director of finance for the Big Ten Network. Again, so you see there are great things that are happening for our interns within college athletics as well as in corporate America. So we look forward to you applying for the position. We'd love to get to know you and hopefully help you develop your career and determine which area that you'd like to specifically focus. I'll now turn it over to Greg Johnson in communications.
Thanks a lot, Carl. Appreciate it. For this set of intern opportunities for you guys, we have 4 departments that we're going to have available to you. And one of them is going to be brand new, so you can be the pioneer and the trailblazer for that one. I'll start off with the brand strategy position. This is a group that puts together our Ncaa National Convention and also the Ncaa Woman of the Year. These are 2 of our biggest events that we run. You will get in on the ground. The Ncaa National Convention, just for example, it's in January. The one that's coming up is going to be in San Antonio. It's a gathering of about 2,000 to 3,000 people around the membership. You will be able to meet with, network with presidents, conference commissioners, ADs, and conference administrators and campus administrators. It's a very big event, and you would find that really rewarding to work on. The second event is that Ncaa Woman of the Year that I mentioned. We're going to do something different this year. Normally that event is held in October, but this year it's going to be held at the convention in January to give it a little more exposure. The candidates, there's usually 30, 10 from each of the 3 divisions. And then there's a group of 10 that's chosen as finalists, and then there's a winner chosen during the award ceremony. It's an unbelievable event. The nominees are the top of the the cream of the crop as far as college athletes, as you can imagine. Another area that you could probably work on with the brand strategy is this is a group that puts together our Psa campaigns. You usually see these played during the Division I men's and women's basketball tournaments is usually when they debut. And then they're also, if you ever get to attend a Ncaa championship, they're usually played in venue also. The second position is a digital strategy and design position. This is an area where you can work with several staff, like our social media team, our video team. One of the areas that this has really grown since the pandemic shut everything down in our office in March of 2020, and we all had to work from home. We developed a thing called Social Series, and there's been over 100 of these that have been played. It's pretty much a weekly interview session, probably anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes, probably 15 to 20 minutes. And we just tackle the topics that are pressing with our membership and with the public. We did a lot of things on the on COVID-19. Our Chief Medical Officer, Brian Handline, has been great on those, and we bring in experts from around the world, around the nation, that really helped to explain where we were at. And that kind of developed literally out of the pandemic, and it's something that we've kept going. The third position is the external engagement position. This is the group formerly known as Public and Media Relations. This is the group where you deal a lot with the media inquiries that come in. As you can imagine, we get a lot of those from the media. Some people that don't normally cover college sports, like with the pandemic or just anything, gender equity, some of the other issues, academics, governance, finance, championships. They're all coming in on a daily basis, and a lot of times you can help set up interviews with staff who are subject matter experts on those areas, or other times you can help watch us with kind of like issues management. I, for one, work closely with our championships group, and there are always things that are popping up. And if you get that position, I will promise you, you will never be bored. There's always something around the corner. The last position is one that's new, we're excited about. It's the editorial development. Prior to the pandemic, we had a magazine called Champion Magazine, where this staff put together a quarterly magazine that just told the story of college sports and wrote about the pressing issues that we were facing. But this, since the pandemic, this is gonna be more writing for our website, coming up with story ideas. One of the things that we would probably have this person do is look up some upcoming anniversaries and milestones that you can probably highlight and write stories on, find examples of how college sports has evolved from a certain point to where we are now. And also, it's also a potential where you can see how the governance system works if you're interested in that. We do a lot of governance coverage, Division I, II, and III. A lot of playing rules coverage comes out of this group also. Here's a couple of our alumni from recent internships. Kelsey Boyd, she works at the NBA in their social responsibility and communications group. Kelsey initially left her internship to work for the NFL. So I don't know if the NHL and MLB are on her her list, but she's doing very well. And Adrian Bell is at Nike now. He just took that position within the last year or so. Prior to that, he worked at Rock Nation on live events. You can just imagine with the pandemic, all of that slowed down. So glad to see he landed on his feet and he's doing well at Nike. And I'll turn it over now to Shay Wallach from our Office of Inclusion, Education, and Community Engagement.
Thank you so much, Greg. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shay Wallach. I use the pronouns he and him. I've been a part of the office of the National Office for about 4 years now, and I serve as the Assistant Director of Inclusion. I'll be sharing some key insights that are important to note about the Office of Inclusion and the work we do, as well as the work that our postgrad intern do. So let's get started. As you can see on your screen, the Office of Inclusion is a part of the Iece unit, which stands for Inclusion, Education, and Community Engagement. And that actually offers 3 different internship roles. One is with inclusion that I'll be speaking to. Another one is with leadership development. And then there's another one which is an Iece rotational role. And that individual engages with both inclusion and leadership development, as well as with our area of community engagement. And that person basically splits their time between these departments. A little bit more about the Office of Inclusion specifically. We have a small but mighty team of 7 plus 1 postgrad intern. What we do is essentially promote, educate on, and advocate for diversity, equity, and inclusion, or in short, DEI. Simply put, we aim to raise awareness for the necessity of inclusive environments and its benefits. And we try to provide our member institutions with guidance and with tools to create such environment within their athletic department. Our office has 5 core areas: race and ethnicity, LGBTQ, gender equity, disability, and international, not in any particular order. It doesn't mean that these 5 is all that we do. Not everything that we do is tied directly to these 5 areas. Our work extends beyond just these areas, but those are the main, those I would say the main focus, and naturally there's as well intersection between all 5. In terms of responsibility for our postgrad, for our office and our postgrad intern, overall our efforts are both external and internal. And what that means is that we provide this type of education or guidance to the membership, but also here in-house to the 500 plus employees here at the National Office. And as attendees on this webinar probably are starting to gather, these internship roles are not about printing copies or making coffee runs. It's just not this type of internship. The inclusion postgrad intern is really an equal team member with us, and that person will be tasked with leading or contributing to pretty much all the projects that we have going on. There's nothing that is off limits for our interns. That means in practicality or in the day-to-day task, it means assisting with the planning, the creation, and the execution of programming, events, resources. It can be delivering presentations. There are various education efforts, and of course, just ongoing engagement with the different Ncaa DEI committees, as well as with all of our stakeholders. The specific assignments for this role with inclusion is always a balance between our office needs and the interns' areas of interest and passion. In the past, we had interns who chose a path of deep focus in 1 or 2 core areas out of the 5 that I've mentioned, based on their knowledge, background, and passion, and even identity in some instances. At the same time, other former interns with the Office of Inclusion were involved with all 5 core areas. So that is very fluid, very dynamic for us. And importantly, we always determine the focus of our interns together with them. So as soon as they come on board, it's a decision that we take together, again, based on their interest and their passion, based on their strengths, etc. So again, we always make that decision together with the selected candidate. Finally, in terms of the ideal candidates, first of all, we genuinely value all aspects of diversity. So there isn't just one profile or one specific path that you must follow in order to be a good fit. I'd even say, on the contrary to that, diverse backgrounds and outlooks are definitely an advantage with the work that we are doing. So what we're seeking is individuals who are passionate about change, who understand the role that athletics can play in that change, or towards that change, rather. And I'll finish by saying that if you are involved in DEI efforts on campus, and if you feel that this line of work is your calling, your passion, we'll definitely want to hear from you. In terms of alumni, and we can skip here, I think, to the next slide. I'll be quite honest, the two individuals on the screen are prior to my time here, but I can add to that, that out of the last 4 interns, 2 were hired as full-time staff members with the Office of Inclusion. Another one, Leland Brown, is now serving as Director of DEI with USA Swimming, so a national governing body. And another one is Dr. Yannick Kluch, who is a rising scholar that often publishes research about athlete activism and DEI and sports. So fair to say that all interns from previous years have gone on to achieve some pretty remarkable stuff. Lamar, I don't know if you want to chime in with any added information specific to the leadership development role.
Thanks, Shay, for talking about inclusion in depth and all the great things you do for our membership. Inclusion, education, and community engagement is a unit that we try to be as collaborative as possible with our partners within inclusion. Specifically, leadership development, we are the training and development arm as far as education and leadership within the national office. So our department does around 13 to 14 programs each year that facilitates and grows and empowers coaches, student athletes, and administrators from all across the nation. So our intern or interns, there's 2 opportunities within leadership development specifically, has the opportunity to not only be involved in the planning phase and some of the logistics of our programs, but also has the opportunity to facilitate discussions, be on panels, engage with different stakeholders, and also be a part of the creation of one of our premier programs, which is the Emerging Leaders Seminar. That is an intern-led program each year where our interns take the lead and run that entire program. So that's one of the biggest projects within leadership development. Our other opportunity that Shay alluded to, which is a shared intern between leadership development and inclusion currently, and will be a part of some community engagement initiatives in the future, is our Iece rotational intern. And this intern gets the both of best worlds, right? Best of both worlds within training and development, but also within research and initiatives within inclusion. And with us being 2 partner units, this intern will get a number of different learning opportunities throughout the 2 programs. I did see a question about traveling, so I'll just answer it now. There are traveling opportunities between a lot of our interns within the national office, but specifically for leadership development, yes, there will be probably around, I would say 10%, maybe 15% at most of travel for individual within the internship.
All right, so I'm Libby Padgett. I'm an associate director on the academic review team at the Ncaa Eligibility Center. Thanks so much for joining today. I am a former intern from 2009-10 with Quentin, so I really can't say enough good things about the program. Totally echo what he would say. So as you may or may not know, the Eligibility Center is a group within Regulatory Affairs that's responsible for reviewing and processing academic and amateurism certifications for college-bound student athletes. The Eligibility Center is comprised of 2 primary units. We've got internal affairs and external operations. And then between those 2, we have 6 core departments or functions. What's great about the internship at the Iece, for which we have 2 spots this year, is you'll get experience with several different departments on a rotational basis, a couple of which are listed there on the screen. So core processing, academic and amateurism review, high school review, and customer service. With customer service, you'll provide guidance and interpretive assistance for anyone calling, prospects, the general public. In academic review, you'll process initial eligibility waivers for those who don't meet the initial eligibility standards. In amateurism review, you'll process complex cases that maybe require more communication or research. And in high school review, you'll assist in reviewing new and existing high schools and review core course submissions. On the next slide, we've got 2 of our esteemed former Eligibility Center interns we wanted to highlight. We've got Katie Stump at Pitt and Paul Perrier at USC, both fantastic humans. We find that generally after the internship at the Eligibility Center, many typically stay in collegiate athletics and most gravitate towards compliance-related positions. So from here, I'm going to pass it to Libby Harmon in enforcement.
Thank you, Libby. All right, so not to be confused with the other Libby, I'm the other Libby, Libby Harmon. I'm also an associate director. I work in our enforcement staff, and a little bit about what enforcement is, what we do. So enforcement is responsible for just that, enforcing the association's rules. As you all probably know, the Ncaa membership, they determine what rules they want to be governed by, and our job at the national office is to enforce those rules for divisions 1, 2, and 3, all sports, all violations. So we handle a couple other aspects to help in our enforcement role. I work in our investigations and processing unit, so I handle level 1, level 2 major violations and investigations. We also have a development staff for football, as well as men's and women's basketball, that help develop information, relationships within those stakeholder groups, have an understanding of what's going on, particularly in those groups, as well as bringing in source information about possible violations. We also have a certification and approvals group, as well as an agents group that handle summer certified events, as well as our agent certification, which is relatively new as a result of the Rice Commission several years ago. We have 3 interns every year, and they all have the same function. And their primary workload is processing level 3 or secondary violations. So in divisions 1, those are called level 3 violations. In divisions 2 and 3, those are called secondary violations. And those are kind of the more minor violations, as opposed to the major level 1 or level 2 violations. Our interns, as everyone's kind of alluded to already on this webinar, are treated like full-time staff members. You have a caseload of your own to process those level 3 and secondary violations. Your name's going out in the decisions. You're the one who's researching case precedent, following up with the institutions if you need more information from the institutions, which all these violations are coming in through RSRO, if you have any familiarity with that system, so self-reported to the enforcement staff. You're working with some of our colleagues in AMA, Eligibility Center, other departments potentially as needed on interpretive issues, student athlete reinstatement issues, assessing, mitigating factors in the violations that are submitted. So that's a little bit of an overview of the primary role of our interns. We also have the interns get involved in some case support work. So that could be with, as I already mentioned, some with our development staff, working with them on some of their initiatives or specific casework, as well as working with someone like me as an investigator. So if I have, a major case that I'm working on, I may need some help with conducting interviews, doing some desktop research, doing some other kind of case support initiatives. So our interns are really critical and important to the work we do in enforcement. As I mentioned, having your own caseload is really important to the work that we do in enforcement. So what we look for in enforcement interns, oftentimes our interns have some sort of graduate degree. A lot usually end up having their JD. It's not a requirement, but I think most of the people who are interested in this kind of work have gone to law school. We also look for individuals who have had some sort of compliance experience, whether that was in undergrad, whether that was in law school, graduate school, to have a familiarity with what the bylaws are, kind of the processes of kind of rules enforcement, as well as good written and oral communication, because it's really important with the work they do. I am also a post-grad alum. I think I forgot to say that at the outset. So this internship is very near and dear to my heart, and it's really important that we get really excellent people in every year. And two of the individuals you see on the slide there, Bree Reed and Malcolm Grace, are just that. Bree is currently at the national office. She's an associate director in our Office of the Committees on Infractions. So she helps support the Committee on Infractions in Divisions 1, 2, and 3, which is kind of like the judge and the jury in our process. And then Malcolm from 2015, he now is at George Mason University after a couple stops at some other institutions. But most of our PGIP interns go on to work in some sort of compliance job after they have left the national office, or if they're lucky enough to get a position to stay on at the national office, they usually will end up in a regulatory affairs position, either in enforcement, AMA, or as Bree, she's in our Office of Committee on Infractions. So with that, I will turn it over to Sarah to talk about executive affairs. Thanks.
Thanks, Libby. Hi, everybody. My name is Sarah Sadowski-Jones. By the time you start interviewing and be here, my name will be Sarah Jones. I recently got married, but if you're doing research between now and then, you might see Sadowski on some things. I am an assistant director here in the Executive Affairs Office at the NCAA. I largely work on hospitality and events for President Emmert, and then also help with other initiatives involving our presidents. The Executive Affairs Office provides administrative support to the NCAA president, as well as our other senior leadership here at the national office when appropriate. We also work with a variety of stakeholders, including our board members, as well as our presidents in all of our 3 divisions. And then in general, just college presidents is largely our audience that we work with. We also have a large touch with government officials, especially with everything that's been going on lately in college sports, as well as other industry executives. The other great part is that we also get to work really closely with all of the national office departments as a part of our responsibilities and getting to know everybody. So we both get this external touch as well as a really close tie internally. And then as an executive office, we're here to also welcome and serve members of the public that have any feedback for us, as well as anybody that would want to interact with President Emmert. We've heard a couple times here that there are small and mighty teams. We are only a team of 5 full-time staff members plus our intern. So we work with each other a lot. Again, we have 1 intern that supports our office for the year. There are kind of 3 main areas that they support us in. Project management, whether that's in our event planning areas. We do a lot of events throughout the year. And then we also have several committees or subcommittees, largely that come out of the Board of Governors. So there's an opportunity to do some work with committees. There's also a lot of research project. That's our most interny experience that you're going to get in our area. But as you can imagine, we look to a lot of data. We do a lot of research. We work closely with a lot of departments to make sure that we are making data-driven and effective decisions. And lastly, largely communications-based, mainly in written correspondence and then through verbal communication, whether that's making telephone calls to the membership or responding to incoming inquiries. We do have some minimal travel, but not a ton, largely going to our events and potentially some site visits throughout the year. I would not say there's a typical day in our world. As you can imagine, normally what's kind of happening in the public greatly impacts a president's office. And if you're looking at college sports lately, there's a lot going on. So again, we're looking for somebody that does have a keen interest in those hot topics, particularly college sports. You're going to really have to enjoy reading a lot, finding on what's going on, being informed, so that you can be an active participant in our staff meetings and a good representative of our office. With that, we need somebody that can manage fast-paced, ever-changing environments. This is not a desk job that you're just going to sit here most days. It's constantly evolving, constantly changing. On the flip side of that, we do require a lot of, again, we talked about research. There are going to be days where you're sitting here just working by yourself, working through lots of information, tracking on research, and providing reporting information for our executives. We largely work with other groups, whether that again be through event planning. We help internally and externally. We help host our national or annual staff appreciation day each year, but then we also host events at our championships, such as men's and women's Final Four. So you will get, again, a variety of event planning experience. Some key things to take in mind of what we're looking for an intern is somebody that can handle highly confidential information. That's extremely imperative in this role. And then also somebody with a high level of professionalism. Just based off of our key stakeholders who we work with, we need somebody that can deliver that top-notch customer service with everybody that they work with, either internally or externally. And then somebody who wants to write. There's a lot of writing involved in this, whether that is drafting announcements for our staff or for guest star events, but then also responding to public inquiries or messages from our membership and managing correspondence for us. Lastly, before I talk about a couple of our interns, one thing to keep in mind, again, if you are tracking on college sports, we are working on hiring a new president. So something just to keep in mind if you're looking at our office. We're super excited about it. We're sad to see President Emmert go, but it is a new era that we will be coming into with leadership. So really exciting time here to learn a new voice, advocate for a new president, and just something to, there could be some adjustments based off of that, but something to keep in mind. With that, for our alumni, we have our alumni, we've had people go to the USOPC to write for their communications office. We've also had several go into development on campus. Here are a couple of our past alumni. Gretchen Myron, who is currently our Director of Inclusion at the NCAA, works closely with Shay, who you just heard from. And then our most recent intern prior to our current intern, Matthias Tomasino. He is working actually in a software industry, providing, again, that high-level customer service. Both of them were former student athletes, Gretchen being a rower from Wisconsin and Matthias a soccer player from Northwestern. So we were proud to have them on our team, but again, a variety of options to go from our experience beyond here. So with that, I will hand it off to Jeff Malinsky.
Thank you, Sarah, and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeff Malinsky. I work in our championship operations group. Associate director, I've been here about 9 years now. Specifically, I work on Division I cross country, indoor track and field, and outdoor track and field. I'm going to spend a little time today talking to you about our internships that we have in our championship and alliance groups. I think a lot of times when people think of championships, they think about the game operations side, but don't think about all the other areas that are involved. So our department is a rather large department that consists of marketing and ticketing, playing rules, officiating, digital, social, corporate champions and partners. So we interact with a lot of various groups on our floor, and I think it gives people a breadth of experience. So I'm excited to share with you guys a little bit of information. Again, we're going to have 8 positions available with our Championship Alliance group. Currently, we have 90 total championships that we operate across 24 sports over the 3 divisions. Obviously, we have our high-profile events like March Madness on the men's and women's side, but then we have smaller championships like skiing, rifle, fencing, and such. So I'm going to dive into first men's and women's basketball a little bit. So those are 2 obviously positions where you're going to be dedicated solely to the sports of basketball. You'll get a breadth of experience in the operations behind the men's Final Four and the women's Final Four and the operations of March Madness. Typically, our interns on that side, what we're looking for is somebody that has a basketball background, whether it's as a former student athlete, player, team manager, director of operations, working on the administrative side. But again, those are going to be heavily geared towards focus on not only supporting Division I and men's and women's basketball, but also the D2 and D3 basketball side of things as well. Digital and social, I don't have to tell you guys this, but this has obviously become a growing area within our office. Obviously, it's a way of us highlighting our brand, highlighting our championships, highlighting our student athletes and their voice and all that they're able to do, both on an academic and athletic side. So that area has grown a lot. Within that area, you can expect that we're going to be looking for somebody with a lot of creative background, brand awareness, video editing skills. The intern that we have in this position this year is currently going to be overseeing the Ncaa social account for soccer. So they're coming in, they're managing that account, they're getting hands-on experience with that. In addition, there'll be opportunities for that intern to travel to various championships and assist on site at various championships. Additionally, we asked that they might interact closely with our membership in various universities and doing, helping with, we do like Twitter takeovers and social takeovers with student athletes on campus. So again, a lot of activity there with the membership and really pushing and growing our brand and our championships. Our marketing and fan engagement intern, that intern is going to be somebody that we're looking for with obviously marketing background, somebody that does have some basic design experience as well. Their focus is going to be on promoting our championships and helping drive attendance at our championships. They'll work closely on fan engagement opportunities, including those surrounding men's Final Four and women's Final Four. Again, they'll help oversee branding initiatives and signage initiatives at our championships and really help promote various platforms for us digitally as well. On the game operations side, this is one where we will have 3 internships available. These interns will support on various championships. They'll work closely with our hosts on the planning and execution of our championships across the board. Again, we'll have assistance at Division I, II, and III level championships. You'll be asked to travel to and be there on site at those championships. You'll get to interact with the various sport committees, sit in on selections for those championships and support with the distribution of communication to the membership on those schools that are selected to compete in our championships. Again, there's 3 positions there. There will be travel involved. And again, that position will have an opportunity to work very closely with other departments within our championship group. So they'll interact with broadcast, they'll interact with playing rules, all the various groups within our department. Game presentation, this is one of our newer positions, and that one was just added this year. So we have a rookie intern in that position this year. But again, that's one where we're going to have this person assist with game presentation. So everything from in-venue content on video board and working with our partners at Van Wagner Sports to help with video board creatives for our various championships. They'll also help with various fan events on site at our championships and helping promote those fan events. You'll get experience doing run of show and building run of show for our championships, halftime content, timeout content, all that good stuff. So again, these roles, I think you're going to get a breadth of experience. As a lot of my colleagues have said previously, we treat you like a full-time employee. And not only are you going to get the hands-on experience, but you're also going to get to network. You know, I think that's one of the most invaluable parts of this internship is you get to go out and interact with folks and network and make connections across not just collegiate athletics, but athletics as a whole. So again, I want to congratulate you guys on taking this first step in the opportunity to pursue this internship. So as Lamar mentioned at the top, we're very proud of this program dating back, you know, 30 years almost at this point. But we have Valerie Richardson, who's a current executive associate AD and SWA at Cal State Northridge. She was part of the 1997 intern class. And then one of our more recent interns, Stanley Brodden, fantastic individual I had the opportunity to work with closely on many of our championships, is now in an associate AD role at Wofford University. So two exceptional individuals there that we're honored to have as part of the alumni class for our PGIP program. So with that, again, I'll turn it over to Ryan Jones in governance.
Thanks, Jeff. Hi, everyone. As Jeff mentioned, my name is Ryan Jones, and I'm the Associate Director of Division II. I've been at the national office now for over 6 years, and in my role, I help oversee really our marketing and our communications for Division II. And then I also serve as the primary liaison to Division II National SAC. I will say this jokingly, but we did save the best for last in today's presentation. But no, all the opportunities that my colleagues have shared today are all really, really great opportunities to make a difference in the national office and in college athletics. So by all means, we'd encourage you to consider applying to many, many of these great opportunities. So as has been mentioned a number of times, the NCAA is very much a membership-led organization, meaning that our committees and our councils make a lot of the decisions that directly impact our respective divisions. The governance structure in all three divisions has been busy for quite some time. For instance, after the NCAA membership adopted the new constitution in January, each of the three divisions has been going to work and taking a look at legislation and policies that they can update to better align with the new NCAA constitution. So as a result, all three divisional governance staffs have been really, really busy for the last number of months. I feel like ever since COVID began, our worlds have changed, and I think you can say that throughout college athletics. The governance internship is an opportunity to support these committees and councils that make recommendations and decisions within the three divisions. By support, I mean our interns really have an opportunity to create meeting materials, lead discussions, and listen to the conversations that are occurring in a particular committee or council. And oftentimes those discussions move up in the respective governance structure and could perhaps become actual policies or new legislation for the three divisions. If I were to touch on a few important skills of our governance interns in the three divisions, I would say that it's important for our governance interns to be detail-oriented, to possess effective written and verbal communication skills. It's also important for our three governance interns to be self-starters, team players. And something that you've mentioned quite a bit today is providing great customer service to our membership. Our governance staffs in all three divisions are a relatively small but mighty group. Each of the three divisions has about 6 to 7 staff members who support their respective division. In governance, there are opportunities to work with colleagues in other departments. We literally could not do our jobs without working with inclusion, championships, academic and membership affairs, enforcement, etc. So governance is really one of those unique opportunities that touches so many areas throughout the national office. Each division has an intern, and the work of a governance intern is very much hands-on. You can see on this slide, the focus of each divisional intern really varies by the division. The Division I intern looks to support the work of Division I committees. The Division II intern focuses a lot of their time on supporting our marketing and our communications initiatives as a Division II. And then the Division III intern focuses on supporting Division III committees, the Division III brand, its marketing initiatives, along with its educational programs. You'll see just a few of our rock star former postgraduate internship program alumni who interned in governance. Our previous postgraduate interns have gone on to be athletic directors. They have work in student athlete development, athletic fundraising, championships, etc. So really this governance internship in all three divisions is an opportunity to focus on something that you can in supporting a division, but also you can really branch out after being a divisional governance intern to a lot of different areas within college athletics or without college athletics for that matter. So I'll stop there with that governance internship overview and I'll pass it back to Lamar.
Thanks, Ryan. And I'll say this jokingly, I am last, so they saved the best for last here. But thank you to all of my amazing colleagues for sharing the wonderful aspects and components, not just of the individual positions that they have within the department, but talking about the internship as a whole. And as you see, just on this call, we have a number of previous interns that are still with us at the national office and thriving within our building. I want to give you all just a few final reminders before we go into a few questions here, but the application is now open. As you all may know, it will close at 5 p.m. Eastern on September 6th, which is the day after Labor Day. We will then take the entire month of September to review applications and prepare for phone interviews that will commence in October, which will then lead into November, where we will have in-person interviews within the national office in Indianapolis. One of the unique things about our internship program and process is that we select and notify our candidates before Christmas. So that is our holiday gift to you for being accepted into the internship program. And then you have a long runway of time into our house hunting trip within April. And it alleviates the stress of worrying about having to get an internship or job down the road. So that is by design, that we get you all and locked in within the national office and selected in December. If you have additional questions, please utilize the internship at ncaa.org inbox, and we will do our best to get to you in a timely fashion with your questions. So what traits differentiate a mediocre intern from someone who truly thrives in the PGIP environment? I'll take this question, and if any of my colleagues want to chime in, feel free. But I think, one, I don't think we necessarily use the word mediocre intern within the process or when we hire individuals. But I think what separates interns and how they perform or thrive within the year-long program is their ability to be coachable. And I won't take the 3 C's from Quentin, but their ability to be coachable, their ability to be proactive, and just their ability to take information, learn it, and then apply it, right? Those are just general components, but are really crucial components, just knowing, working with our interns now. And then, these days, having a high level of emotional intelligence is critical, dealing with the different types of stakeholders, the membership that we deal with, and just some of the high profile situations that we do deal with within our organization as well. Does this internship provide flexibility for interns if they were having to leave a few weeks early for full-time opportunities? If you are just leaving a few weeks early for some full-time opportunities within May, there is more than enough flexibility for you all to take on those opportunities. We've had interns leave us as early as 4 months into the internship and as late as a few weeks after the internship is concluded. So we all want you all to be here for the entire internship. However, we know that we attract talented individuals into a very respectable brand within the Ncaa. So there's always individuals that are reaching out to acquire your talents before your time is up. How many applicants are selected to be interviewed for internship program across positions? So generally, it is up to the departments from the initial screening on how many applicants that they want to interview for their positions. Like you've learned, each department has anywhere from 1 to upwards to 5, 6, 7 positions within a certain area. So that could look different for each department, but each department does take on a significant amount of interviews during that initial screening for those phone interviews. If you cannot attend an in-person interview, is it possible to do it via Zoom? Unfortunately, we will require everyone to have themselves within the national office in person for the in-person interviews. It presents a level of competitive advantage if one person is able to interview in person and the other person is able to interview virtually. In both ways, there's a competitive advantage, so we wouldn't be able to do that. how many positions can you apply to if more than one? Great question. So in the application, there is a portion where you can select your top 3 choices. So when you select those top 3 choices, those are the different positions that you are applying for. What could a potential candidate expect for phone versus in-person rounds of interviews? Would it vary per department? In short, yes, it would vary per department. There could be departments that require you to submit some materials in advance. There could be some departments that require you to possibly do a presentation within your in-person round or present some type of written sample as well. Would the in-person interview, would the cost be responsible for the individual? No, the Ncaa would cover all of your travel costs if you were to get selected for in-person interview. On the application, it talks about, do you currently have a lawful employment authorization which permits you to work for us without having to take action either upon employment or any date in the future to ensure or to assist you in maintaining lawful employment authorization to work for us. And I may lean on Shay for this just so I don't say it incorrectly, but this question is specifically pertaining to any type of work permit, or if you're an international employee, work visa that you would need in order to work for the national office. For our internship, we do not sponsor work visas, unfortunately, for international employees or international interns. Like I said, if you have questions that you are not able to find through the recording of this session, the materials on the website and the information on the website, please feel free to email internship@ncaa.org, and we will do our best to get back to you in a timely fashion. We look forward to seeing and reviewing your applications, and thank you for your time today. Have a great rest of your week.